melodic stuff. It's just tougher. So this brings me on to another thing I've recently learned how to do. There is a feature in Kontakt that I would like some of you with restricted systems to know about. I will do a video on it at some point. So that the thing is, okay, when you've let's say you've got a cello patch, right, a legato cello patch, and this motherfucker takes up like, I don't know, 400 megabytes of RAM, and when you've got 16 gigabytes, that's a chunk right there. And your line just goes do 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 do, or whatever the fuck it's gonna be. Once you've written it, you don't need all the other notes you didn't play. So what you do, right, is I'm gonna try and figure this out. Actually, I'm gonna see if I can. Okay, wait. I fuck off. I need to change it. Hang on. Okay, I should be back. Sorry about that. Right. This is hard, okay? I have one screen. I'm used to working with like 50. Okay, so now I just need to window capture. Oh, in before pawn. Kontakt 5. Okay. So, fuck off, mate. Okay. So, in Kontakt, there's this option somewhere. Hang on. So, here. So you see this one. Update the sample pool. Okay. So, if you click that one, so you see it's here next to purge. You don't want to purge all the samples. I mean, okay, you probably do want to purge all the samples, but the better option to do here is update the sample pool. So what that'll do is, let's say I just, hit a few of these. It kind of registers what I did, and now if I update the sample pool, I'm now using 2 meg as opposed to, so I want this note, so it loads that note into RAM. Obviously, that's got like a few round robin. But like, if my melody just goes da 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 like that, and now this patch only uses 4 megabytes of RAM as opposed to, what was it again? How many was it? Let's reload it in. So let's load it in. Let's see the difference. There's going to be a bit of a difference, I imagine. I wasn't deleting. You can't see my mouse because I only have the window capture thing on right now. But like, if you look down at the bottom, look, you'll see the notes going in. That's me essentially playing the note. I haven't got the sound rolling through just yet, but I'll get to that when I've figured out how I'm gonna set all this up correctly. I just thought I'd do an update stream, like be friendly and all that. So if you look at the bottom, look. So this currently takes up. I don't know. Like, if you look up here, I don't know how to draw your attention to it. But like, okay, so look up here where it's flashing. So it says violin articulations, output, MIDI. And if you look where it says memory, 0.84 gigabytes, which means this is almost using 1 gigabyte of RAM by itself. And this is just one string section. Okay. Now, on my 64 gigabytes of RAM machine, this was fine. I could deal with this. But on the 16 gigabyte machine, this is like being anally destroyed by a donkey, okay? Just to put it mildly. There's no room, nobody's happy, and there's tears at the end of it. So what you do is, like if you've written your line already, that will make your life much easier. So if you've written, let's say you're writing your string passages. Obviously, you don't have to do it as you go. So you're writing your string passages, and then you start getting drop notes. What you do is you just come up to the top here. You can see this button flashing up here. Where it says purge, you click the down arrow, and you just update the sample pool. And that 0.8 gig. So let's just call it a gig. That gigabyte of RAM has now gone down to 2.56 megabytes. So all that is loaded into RAM right now is the UI. That is the only thing. So let's say what would happen in this situation is when the the MIDI played back in your sequencer, it would essentially. So if you look at the bottom of the keyboard now, I'm just gonna hit some notes. So let's say you had this like note here, and it played like da 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 do 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 do. Like okay, so it plays that. So it's loading it as it's being played. So now it's only 4.57 megabytes. And if that's all you're using, and particularly if you're using the same note more than once, you are saving a shit ton of RAM right there. You've gone from 1 gigabyte to 5 megs. And you see, the reason this is because a lot of libraries these days have multiple articulations, right? So let's change it to key switch. Let's put it, let's change it to sustains. So now, oh wait, that wasn't sustain. F0. Here we go. So now it's 13 meg. So 37 meg, right? That's a relatively like that's relatively light. Like I have passages in my MIDI which do less work than that, and you see that, and that's the key. That's the key to it all, people, because nobody uses every sample of every sample library when they write. Okay, you like, particularly if you're writing like very like melodic stuff, or you'll use it like if you have a chord progression that goes D minor, B flat, F, C, common chord progression, right? You are not using a fuck ton of keys. So you don't need them. Purge them. We don't need those. They're gone, right? You're not using the short articulation. You're not using the trems. You're just using the sustains. There's a fuck ton of samples you don't need. Gone. And you'll find that when it comes down to what you actually use when you write, it turns out you have a shit ton of space left. And so now, like, let's say that I wanted to use Cinestrings in my piece. So each articulations patch was a gigabyte each. So if I'm using violins 1, violins 2, viola, cello, and bass, that's 5 gigabytes of RAM just for the strings, okay? But if you purge them down, and I'm only using the sustains of each, or just the the spiccatos or whatever, and you're bringing them down to like, I don't know, let's be a little bit pessimistic, 100 megabytes each. That's 500 megabytes. So you've gone from 5 gig to half a gig, and that's your whole string section. So you've saved a fuck ton of memory just by being resourceful. You're being clever. You're thinking ahead. And you'll find that when you get